All right, we're up to our tool number 2 on marriage. So, a beautiful thing that I've learned from a great book that I recommend to everyone to read. It's not a Jewish book, but it has a lot of Jewish concept into it. It's More Fertile Marriage Fitness. Very good book. Really recommend it. It's not to fix the problems, but it's to, although it will fix a lot of problems if you actually do what he tells you to do, but it has a lot of tools to make marriage better, and like he says, marriage fitness, it's to keep exercising love and practicing love, and but there's much more than just a simple fitness in there. So I really recommend it. And one of the points he speaks about is the idea actually of a bedeken. By Jews, when we get married, we have a veil that we put in front of our face, and before we get married, we remove the veil in order to see who it is and to make sure we're getting married to the right one. So one of the reasons we do that is because obviously you have to make sure that you see the wife you get married to, in order that you see who it is. Why do we do that? Because of the story of Rachel and Leah with Yaakov. Yaakov in the Bible, Jacob decided to marry Rachel and Leah, and what happens? He wakes up the next morning and he has been duped, so to speak, and he finds Leah instead of Rachel. What happened? A very strange story, but at the end he doesn't even necessarily get angry. He doesn't, because he's told, don't worry, you can also work for Rachel and get married to her, but you had to marry Leah first. The best is to go in the Bible, see the story for yourself, and basically what we do now is we're basically showing that we're very aware that of who we're marrying, and we don't want to make the same mistake. Now, he explains it in a very beautiful way that I never saw explained before, although it's a concept that I've spoken a lot among people, but we don't necessarily realize the veracity of it and the beauty of it. So what does he say? He says that when we get married to 2 women. One is Rachel and one is Leah. Rachel is the one that we fall in love with. It's the one that seduces us. It's the part of the woman that that we really want to get married to. And all the good things why you will marry that person. And actually, when we remove the veil, we're supposed to tell the other, give a blessing to the other, and ideal is to give a blessing of telling the other why I get married to you. I don't get married just because you're beautiful, which is one other reason for the veil. I get married to you also because you are you, and I see the beauty in you, the Rachel in you. And then we put back the veil, showing that I don't get married just for your beauty, but just for who you truly are. So, but there's another part of the person that we don't know, that is hidden, that is not revealed, and that's the Leah part of the woman. What happens is that after a few years, sometimes less, sometimes more, we start discovering another side to our spouse. Character flows, the Leah part of our spouse. And Leah was more plaintive, more complaining, more cried a lot, very sensitive, and more feisty, so to speak. And that's the contrast. That's what we have to realize when we get married. We get married to Rachel and to Leah. So whenever and what happens is that very often we say, oh, I feel like I got married to that person, but that's not who I wanted. That's not who I was married to. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You got married to the Rachel part. Every person, even a man, any spouse, has a Rachel and a Leah part of her. The reason it's Yaakov who has to work at it because it's the man's job to really accept those two parts. If you have to accept the two parts of your spouse, of your wife will accept the two parts of you too. Ezer kenegdo, the opposite of you. She reflects the way you treat her. So it's very important to learn for both spouses to accept the other side of the other. That's repetitive, but to accept the other side. There's a part of you that I got married to, the beauty of you, your uniqueness, your generosity, your softness, your humbleness, whatever it is that you find beautiful in your spouse, that's the special person I got married to. But don't think you can escape the other part. True love, a true marriage, and when you accept all the imperfection of the other. And the moment when it becomes difficult, when your spouse is not the way you wanted, is not the Rachel that you saw at the beginning, then that's when you show really you truly love the other. That's when you truly show for the better and for the worse that you got married to that person. That's when you show true love. True love is not just when the other is at its best. True love is when the other is also at its worst, and you still love that person, and you help that person, and you help that side, that Leah part of the other person, and then you're able to go back to those Rachel moments. So always remember that. When you get upset, usually you get upset at the Leah, not at the Rachel. We rarely get upset at the Rachel part. You get upset at the Leah part. Remember that Leah part. Leah part doesn't mean she's not the right soulmate. The Leah part doesn't mean that she's not right for you. The Leah part means it was always there, but everything comes with a package. There's nothing 100% pure beside God. Everything, we live in a world of mixed, of good and evil, of positive and negative, and when we choose positive, there will be a negative part attached to it. Every fruit has a shell, so to speak, or a thin layer that protects it. So it comes together, and we have to learn to appreciate also that part, and to use that as a challenge to really show true love. You know what? I'm going to show true love. I'm going to accept your moods. I'm going to accept your negative attitude. I'm going to accept your mistake. I'm going to accept the part of you that I don't like so much, because that's the Leah, and we need both. And eventually, you're going to see that the more you accept those parts, the easier it'll be to deal with it, and the more you spend time with the Rachel. Also, when it becomes very, very hard, remember why you got married. Remember you got married because of the Rachel, and that Rachel is hidden behind the Leah. Right, and then Leah comes first, so to speak. It's the heart, it's the shell, but inside the Rachel, hiding there, is the Rachel, who is loving, who's the one who you really love deep inside, which is the true soul of the person, and that you truly adore. So that's the tool for today, to be aware of that, especially in the difficult moments, and take even the difficult moments as an opportunity to realize that that's really what marriage is about. That's really what true love is. And if we can use this, then we'll be able to continue in our marriage and build on our marriage and accept the other, the whole other. And the more you do that, the more you'll have awesome moments together and spend more and more time with Rachel, because Leah will be accepted. The whole thing of Leah and Jacob, she's trying to be accepted by Yaakov, to feel she's loved, and she pushed him to love him. Oh, now I have children, maybe he's going to love that part of me. I gave you children, I did something good, maybe even the imperfect part of me you're going to love. Leah desperately tried to be accepted, which is a message. The more you accept the Leah part of the person, the more difficult part of the person, the more Rachel is going to open up and be revealed. May we all be able to embrace Rachel and Leah.